Hi, happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome. I am Meredith. I am here with our message for the 7th of August, 2025. We're using the Ocean Tarot again for our message today. We have the Sun in Leo, the Moon's in Capricorn. It is going to move into Aquarius around 9:20 this evening. And then we have all of our beautiful retrogrades, 5 retrogrades going: Saturn, Pluto, Neptune, Mercury, Chiron. It's a full boat right there. All right, we're tuning into the energy atmosphere. Of course, what's on offer to us? How are we engaging? What's engaging us? Our first 2 cards. The moon. The moon is back. You know, I've been saying this week, the subtle is profound, and I feel that here with the moon. There is something subtle kind of moving beneath the surface, I feel, within all of us. Likely it's emotional in some way, or it is expressed emotionally, though I feel it has been expressed emotionally through the ego for so much so that it's become a behavior or a habit. And I have the sense that we're onto it and we're recognizing how we may not have been serving ourselves well. I do feel that the retrogrades have been pointing a lot of that out for us. So we've had some heavy hitter readings in terms of our reactions and responses to what evolves in our world, and then having that measure of self-responsibility, recognizing that we create it all. It's huge, and there is no room for shame, blame, or guilt. And I think that this is what the moon is bringing up for us, or pointing us in a direction to. Now, as I always share, it's borrowed light of the sun. It's a highly intuitive card, and my biggest feel is the retrogrades have been pointing us in the direction of our own subtle nature, where we require more empowerment and more courage in self-relationship. All right, coming with this. Yeah, the Ace of Swords, brilliant clarity and everlasting strength. And it's almost counterintuitive, these 2 cards together, because the moon is so subtle and the Ace of Swords is not. So I'm picking up that we're getting some brilliant clarity so that we can empower our everlasting strength when it comes to where we undermine ourselves emotionally. That's the feel there. We'll see how it evolves as the reading goes on. The next card we have is, wow, you cannot make that up. That's the 7 of Swords. This is the card of self-sabotage. Holy crap, people. Wow. I like to be surprised with you. I want to clarify for you. I don't know what these cards are going to be. Sometimes when I shuffle, 1 or 2 of them might flip over and I get a glimpse, or I know. However, for the most part, I don't know what the cards are. And I certainly don't know these cards today. And so this is fascinating to me, because the 7 of Swords is the card of self-sabotage. And I think that that's the subtle message that we're getting here. What do we do on repeat? You know, is that air we're breathing? Does a fish know it's in water? Do we know where we self-sabotage? Check it, because it's going to become a big deal. Now, if you add this Ace to the 7, you get the 8, and therein lies the mental trap that the ego is so good at gripping and, you know, never letting go of. And I think the moon is showing us what we can let go of. And it's that whisper. It's that subtle intuition that is quite profound right now, worthy of giving some of our attention to. Let's see what's next and in the middle of the reading. Wow. Now the King of Swords. Excellent. A very exacting dude in tarot. The King and the Queen, you know, they have quite the reputation, of swords anyway, of being bitter and cold and all that jazz. And I never feel that way about these 2. However, they'll tell you the raw truth. And I have the sense that that's what we're getting, is a raw truth within our own self relationship that will show us where we undermine ourselves and where we then, therefore undermine other experiences in our world, because the ego has got the bit in its mouth and it's running. So, and it's bit in its teeth, let me rephrase, and it's running away with it. So your intuition is going to be spot on when it comes to, well, it's going to be spot on, period. However, when it comes to the things that you may have been overlooking, that the retrogrades are dishing out by the bucket load right now, you're not going to be able to keep your eyes closed to attitudes, behaviors, belief systems that are dismissive of your spirit, where your ego wants to go into major protection mode and seemingly spare you from something that you think is going to be difficult or painful. Yet when you turn and face it, you're like the mighty lion on the lion's gate, right? And it is Lionsgate season, folks. Check out YouTube for more information about that. Anyway, here's the King of Swords with a very exacting presence. He's right there in the middle. And what I'm going to say here is, this is a no bullshit zone. You cannot bullshit yourself anymore with an old story and an old repetitive behavior. You're going to get called out by the retrograde, and it's up to you to face that. And you can face that with strength and courage, empowerment, and your pure raw love, and no blame, shame, or guilt for yourself for being a certain way or acting in a certain way, because that's just what you've done for a while. Some habits are more challenging to overcome. So see them, recognize them, love them, face them. Otherwise, they're just going to continue to come back around for you on a nice infinity loop even. With the King, we have, very nice, the Eight of Pentacles. So, what a sweet card here. Because the Eight of Pentacles is keep doing what you're doing because it works for you. And what works for you is listening to your intuition. Following through on those messages that you receive. What also works for you is the spiritual practice, not even practice, the spiritual way of being in your world that continues to bless you. You want to look to this energy when you're facing something that's a little more difficult, and see all of your prior successes and leverage that energy on a now moment when you're being challenged by your own Seven of Swords. Beautiful. And then we have the Knight of Swords. So we're picking up speed and momentum, which tells me that we can move through these moments very swiftly. We don't have to linger here. It doesn't have to be this, arduous journey through the bullshit of the ego. It doesn't. You just get to recognize it and say, hey, I call bullshit on this. And what am I going to do about that? I'm going to bring the totality of my loving presence and my soulful presence and my heart-mind coherence to this challenge. Next set, 3 cards. So be ready for that. First of 3, we have now the 8 of Wands. Excellent. Another 8. So basically we have 3 8s. Between the Ace of Swords and the 7, we make the 8 of Swords, where we're going to set ourselves free from some mental trap. We have the 8 of Pentacles, and this is exactly how we're going to get out of the mental trap, because we're going to do what we know that feeds our soul so that we grow, and it's going to be very swift. We have incoming information. This reading itself may be the incoming information for some of you that sets off an avalanche of inspiration for challenging anything that is a less than energy that you have accepted previously and are now ready to move past. So after the 8 of Wands, we have now, look at this, the Empress back again. Because we're giving birth to a whole new aspect of our foundation in this life. We're bringing our dreams, our achievements, our inspirations and oncoming goals to the now. And this old thing that's showing up over here, that the moon is showing us, has got to go, because it's not supportive of what we're in evolution for. And what are we in evolution for? What is coming through this beautiful Empress? Serious. I'm so card witching right now. Here it is. 9 of Cups. Where all your dreams, wishes, and goals come to fruition. Hello. That's what we're doing it for. So, you know, as murky and muddy as some of these waters might get for you in the retrograde, it's worth wading through it, because you're going to find a gem in there that could be holding you back, could have been holding you back. And you'll have an epiphany. You'll have that aha moment and be like, holy wow, I have a completely new option here, a new way of considering. And I can let go of this old way of being. So cheers to that, folks. Blessings to you in this really inspirational journey. Bottom of the deck, what's on offer to us? What's going on behind the scenes? What's the universe serving up for us that we're not so clear about? Here's the Queen of Pentacles. Excellent to see her, most especially after the Empress and the 9 of Cups. These over here are an absolute wow factor. The whole thing is a wow factor, though if you want to put some punctuation at the end of a reading, here's your exclamation point. And then the story continues, and how the universe is meeting you there with this beautiful queen. She and the king also create beautiful ripple effects that, you know, journey on for us in our evolution. And this is the energy that we are setting into a ripple effect with the Empress and the 9 of Cups. Excellent. And then we have the 10 of Wands. And don't cringe on this one. 10s are about fulfillments. And this is about having the Ace of Wands to the power of 10. So that's motivation, enthusiasm, excitement, inspiration, as I've been talking about, passion, creativity, our fire. Yeah. We got to get something out of the way over here in these cards by listening to our intuition. And it's very clear, those subtle messages, so that we can bring all of this resource in the Suit of Wands to this Empress 9 of Cups foundation. And then we have the Knight of Cups carrying, you know, the Ace of Cups. Beautiful. Where are we going with that? Right into justice. Harmony. We're going into harmony. We're harmonizing. We're balancing our own scales. So there is something over here that's very valuable for us to recognize and witness and be in validation, heart-mind coherence, and soulful presence with and for, to bring the harmony so that we create a foundation that supports all of this goodness here. Nice. 6 of Cups, or pearls. 6 of Cups here. For me, this is a channeling card. 6s are about harmony, so I like seeing that after justice, absolutely. And I feel that this is the soulful presence right here, speaking to the waking consciousness right here. This is the soulmate card. So again, it's union with soulful presence. That is your waking consciousness. What comes after that? I know that's 5, but I just feel another. Seriously, Death card. Now there is some fantastic punctuation for the totality of the reading, because this is a card about transformation. And that's what's being kicked off over here with the moon and the Ace of Swords and the King of Swords and the 7 of Swords. We're transforming something that has been undermining our fulfillment for a long time through an old belief rooted in the ego presence. So, hello Scorpio, hello Death card. Transformation, bring it, because we're ready for it, because this over here is so fantastic. Beautiful. Let's see what angel answers have to say. Ask a question of these cards if you have one. Let it confirm the reading, or simply be a fresh message for you. I like that. You are ready. Absolutely, you're ready. You can do this. There's no need to worry. There's no need to worry because you have self-mastery. And you trust yourself and you trust your journey. You've been here before. You've done this before. You can do it again. Divine timing at work for us. No clocks, no calendars. It's all falling into place as it is meant to be. It's all about big happy changes. I love how this evolves here on the table, just like the tarot reading. You need the encouragement of the you're ready and no need to worry. And you can trust yourself that divine timing is absolutely perfect. And big happy changes are right here on the horizon. And not a distant horizon either. Final word, angels and ancestors. How is our soulful presence informing our waking consciousness? We have the summer card. Again, we had this week, I think. Bask in joy and light. Yes. Oh, this one too. And drum, dream and journey. Yeah, you're doing it. And as you dream and journey, you're going to see something subtle that requires your love and attention so that more of the big happy changes, Nine of Cups, Empress energy can bring exactly what you're envisioning to your foundation. Have the very best day ever, folks. Peace, love, happiness. Namaste.